Look, I'm going to tell you something that might make you uncomfortable, but someone needs to say it. Nietzsche spent his entire life studying human nature, power dynamics, and the masks we wear in society. And guess what? He had some observations about love and relationships that most people are too afraid to acknowledge. Not because they're wrong, but because they're true. So here's the deal. You've probably been fed this Disney version of love your entire life. You know the one, where someone will love you unconditionally just for existing, where being yourself is enough, where nice guys finish first if they just wait long enough. And you believed it because why wouldn't you? Everyone from your parents to Hollywood to your teachers told you the same story. But then reality hit differently, didn't it? First truth, love is not unconditional. Not really. Nietzsche understood that all relationships are fundamentally about power and value exchange. Women aren't attracted to you because of your inherent worth as a person. They're attracted to what you represent, what you provide, what you signal to the world and to them. Your status, your competence, your ability to handle chaos. The second you stop providing that value, the second you reveal weakness in ways that diminish you, watch how quickly that love becomes conditional. And I'm not saying this to be cruel. I'm saying this because operating under false assumptions will destroy you. Think about the last time someone told you to just be vulnerable and open up. Did it work? Or did you notice a subtle shift in how she looked at you after? That's because vulnerability without strength is just weakness. Nietzsche talked about the will to power as the fundamental driving force in humans. Everyone is constantly assessing everyone else for strength, capability, potential. Women do this instinctively. They have to. Biology demands it. Society demanded it for thousands of years. That programming doesn't just disappear because we pretend gender roles don't exist anymore. Here's what nobody tells you. She's testing you constantly. Not because she's evil or manipulative, but because she needs to know if you're actually strong or just performing strength. Every emotional challenge, every dramatic moment, every time she pushes back against you, there's a part of her biology checking to see if you'll hold frame or crumble. And the moment you consistently crumble, attraction dies. Not because she's shallow, but because you failed a test that's been hardwired into human mating for millennia. Second truth, and this one's going to sting. The pedestal you put her on? She resents it. Nietzsche wrote about master and slave morality, about how resentment builds when power dynamics get inverted or corrupted. When you worship a woman, when you make her your entire purpose, when you sacrifice your mission and your ambitions to revolve around her, you're not loving her. You're burdening her with a responsibility she never asked for. You're making her your god, and nobody wants to be someone else's god. It's suffocating. She doesn't want to be worshipped. She wants to be chosen by someone who has other options, by someone who has a life and purpose bigger than her, because that's the only way she knows the choice is real. That's the only way she feels she earned your attention rather than just received it by default. Nietzsche understood this deeply. The man who has nothing else going for him, who makes a woman his entire existence, becomes pathetic in her eyes eventually, not because she's cruel, but because he's violated a fundamental law of attraction. You must be complete without her for her to want to be with you. And yeah, I know what you're thinking, but society tells us to make our partner our everything, right? Society also told you that being nice was enough. How's that working out? Third truth. Hypergamy is real, and denying it won't protect you. Women are biologically wired to seek the best possible mate they can attract. Nietzsche would call this the will to power expressing itself through sexual selection. She's always going to be unconsciously evaluating whether she can do better, always comparing you to other options. Not because she's a bad person, but because that's how human mating psychology works. Men do it too, just differently. Men spread their attraction wide. Women consolidate theirs upward. This is why complacency kills relationships. The moment you stop growing, stop improving, stop pushing yourself to be better, you're not just stagnating. you're actively becoming less attractive relative to other men she encounters. And modern technology has made this worse, not better. She's got hundreds of men in her phone, on social media, at work, showing her every single day what else is out there. You think those comparisons don't happen? You think she's not noticing when some guy who's more put together than you shows interest? I'm not saying live in paranoia. I'm saying understand the game you're actually playing instead of the game you wish you were playing. Fourth truth, and this is where it gets really uncomfortable. She doesn't want equality, not in the way you think. Nietzsche talked about the dangers of egalitarianism when applied universally without nuance. In relationships, what women say they want intellectually and what they actually respond to emotionally are often completely different things. She might tell you she wants a sensitive man who shares his feelings. She might say she wants a partner, an equal, but watch what she actually rewards with desire and attraction. It's usually dominance, leadership, decisive action. This creates a brutal double bind for modern men. You're told to be one thing, but sexually selected for being another thing entirely. And if you listen to the words instead of watching the behavior, you'll end up confused and alone. Women want a man who can lead, who can make decisions, who can handle her emotions without being overwhelmed by them. They want someone above them in certain hierarchies, even if they'd never admit this out loud, because admitting it feels regressive, feels wrong based on modern values. But the biology doesn't care about modern values. Fifth truth. Love is not a feeling. It's a choice you make repeatedly in the face of better options. Nietzsche understood that the romantic notion of love as this overwhelming emotion that conquers all is slave morality. It's weakness disguised as virtue. Real love, if such a thing even exists beyond biological and social constructs, is the decision to stay committed when the initial attraction fades, when the novelty wears off, when you see all the flaws and problems and difficulties. But here's the catch. She'll only keep choosing you if you remain worth choosing. If you let yourself go physically, emotionally, financially, socially, why would she keep picking you over newer, shinier options? She won't, and you can cry about loyalty all you want, but loyalty without continuing value is just settling, and nobody wants to feel like they're settling. This is why men who understand this focus relentlessly on self-improvement, not to impress women, but because it's the only way to ensure the relationship remains a choice rather than a trap for both people. You want her to stay because she still genuinely wants you, not because she's stuck or feels obligated. Sixth truth, and this is the hardest one to accept. Most relationships are cope mechanisms for people avoiding their actual purpose. Nietzsche's whole philosophy was about becoming who you truly are, actualizing your potential, creating your own values. But most people use relationships as an escape from that terrifying challenge. They hide in romance and domesticity and comfort because facing their real potential is too scary. And women sense this. When you're using her to avoid your mission, to avoid the hard work of becoming great, she knows. Maybe not consciously, but she feels it, and it kills her attraction to you. The men who are genuinely magnetic to women are the ones obsessed with something beyond women. The artist consumed by his craft, the entrepreneur building his empire, the athlete pushing his limits. They're not trying to attract women. They're trying to become the best version of themselves possible. And women gravitate to that energy because it's authentic power. It's the will to power made manifest. And it's incredibly rare because most men are too busy chasing women to ever develop it. So where does this leave you? If all of this is true, if love is conditional and women are constantly evaluating and attraction is based on power and value, is there any hope? Yeah, actually, there's more hope than in the Disney lie, because at least now you understand the actual rules of the game. You can stop playing by fantasy rules and start playing by reality rules. You can focus on becoming genuinely valuable instead of just performing niceness. You can build a life worth being chosen for instead of desperately grasping at any affection you can get. Nietzsche said, amor fati, love your fate. Accept reality as it is, not as you wish it were. The truth about female nature isn't pretty, but it's honest. And honesty is the only foundation on which you can build something real.